Hello, sweet ladies, you're welcome back. So today we are going to be learning how to make an inbuilt drape on a lace fabric, just like I promised in the other drape tutorial that I posted earlier. So today we are going to be learning how to make an inbuilt drape on a lace fabric. So keep watching. All right, I've already cut out the skirt part of the gown on my lining. This is my zip allowance, and this is the front that is right on top, and you can see I've cut out the front. I'm going to be showing you on the front. So if you don't know how to draft this case block, you can watch this video. I made a tutorial on it. All right, so I'll also use my lining to cut out my main lining, because you know this is a lace fabric. I usually double line the lace. All right, so the first one I cut is a Duchess satin. So I cut it exactly what I want. Then this second one that I'm cutting out now is the main lining. The satin is going to be directly underneath the lace, while the main lining will be underneath the satin. So anytime I'm making a lace that is transparent like this, I usually double the lining. So because this is a lining, I reduce the length of this main lining by 2 inches. I reduced this by 2 inches. I believe we all know how to cut this skirt. All right, so you can see the lining is reduced by 2 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do is for me to cut lining for the back as well. So I'll go ahead and cut it, and also cut my lace fabric for the back, and I'm going to just keep it aside because the main focus for this tutorial today is on the front part of the skirt. You can see I'm going to just cut out the lace for the back. So basically the back consists of 2 lining, then with the lace. So all together is 3 layers: lace, satin, and then the lining. All right, so I'll keep the back aside, then we are going to work on the front. All right, so this is the front. You can see I already cut out the lining and the satin. So what I'll do next is for me to bring the upper part of the dress, which I cut out earlier. Is going to be this basque waistline. So I already cut it out. You can see this is how it's going to be. It's going to be a basque waistline. I have a tutorial on this also. Please check on the channel. I'm just going to leave all the links to the video in the description box. So because it's not just a straight waistline, I'm going to place the satin, the upper part right on top of it, and I'm just going to trace out the shape of that V on the skirt. And when that is done, I'll remove the upper part, and then I'm going to add my seam allowance of 1/2 inch to that line. Then after that, the next is to cut it out. Then after that, I'll just remove the lining so that I'll work with only the satin. Like I said earlier, the satin is going to be directly underneath the lace. So I'll open the satin. This is a Duchess satin. I'll just open it like this. You can see how it looks. And don't forget, you can also drape directly on a normal waistline that does not have this kind of V shape. Yes, you can do that. So this is just the style my client wants. That's why I'm doing it on this type of shape on the waistline. It's still the same technique, and yes, that's it. All right, so I placed my lace fabric right on top of the satin. The length of this lace fabric that I'm using is by 58. The length is by 58. All right, so I just placed the lace right on top of the satin, just the way I'm doing it now. I will ensure it matches at the hem line properly, like this. So both the lining and the lace, they will be equal at the lower part. All right, so the first thing I did was to measure from the center of my V downward the length that I want for the drape. So I measure just 7 inches downward from the center of the V and I mark it. So the next thing, like I said, you can do any shape of drape you want, however you want your drape. That is how you can do it. It's just for you to fold it just the way I'm doing it. You can see this is just a straight one, so you can just do it like this and get whatever you want for the drape, whatever shape or style you want for the drape. Okay, so this is how to just do it on a straight line, just like the one we did on the Ankara fabric. All right, but today I'm just going to do mine such that it follows the shape of the V that I have at the waistline. So that is what I'm going
so
to
this
do.
is, you can see the lace 16 inches longer than the skirt that is underneath it. It's 16 inches longer. So what I'll do, like I said, if I want the drape to just be here, that's what I've illustrated for you. So just fold your lace. Your pleat can be in any shape of your choice. Like the pleat can face down or to be face up, anyhow you want it. Make sure as you are pleating, the one under is not folding. Let it remain flat. Can you see? So as you are doing it, you are going to just be pinning it. So this is it. So it depends on how many pleats or how many drape you want to create. So I want to create a very nice V. I want the shape to just follow like this. Let it follow the shape of that V. That's what I want to do. So what I'll do here now is I'll just bring the edge here. I'll bring it here first. I'll do it this way, and then I'm just going to pin it. So then I'll continue to create my pleats. Your pleats can either face up or down. So just continue to create your pleats, and please ensure your pleats is equal. So continue to create your pleat like that. So I'm done creating the pleat now at this side, so I'll just pin it. I'm going to pin. Let's take this again. And you see, this is how it is. You determine the length from here, determine how low you want it. So I'll come to the edge of the fabric like this. So I'll hold it down and then just bring it to come and match this edge here. Can you see? And if you notice, I have excess at this side and there's excess lace at this side also. There's excess lace at this side and there's excess lace at the other side. So I'll pin the edge down like this. Then I'll continue to create my pleat. So just create your pleat. You can make it big, you can make it tiny. What you want is your choice. You can do a big pleat or a tiny pleat. So I'll continue to create the pleats. Until you exhaust it. When you exhaust it, you will know, because this is the, you can see that it's flat here now. So when you exhaust the excess you have there, you are definitely going to be. So I'm done with the pleat on this side. Then I'll move to the front, so to the center rather. So at the center again, I'll match it, and then I'm going to pin. Pin. You can see that I did not allow, I left like ½ inch here because of the joining. So create your pleat, let it follow the same shape that is coming from this side so that everything can be nice and beautiful. So you can see I've aligned, just align it the way this one is. Align it like that. Right, so I'm done with this side and the center, so I'm going to plait it now. So like I said, you may want to do this on the floor so that it can be easy for you. So I'm done with this side now. Go to this other side, grab the tip, this is the tip, put it right on top of it like this. Can you see? Put it right on top of it. Put it right on top of it, and then you pin. Then you continue to create your pleat like the way this one is now. So create it and follow the shape. Don't bother about anything, just continue to create the pleat. I want it to follow this V shape, like I said, so that's why I'm doing all of this. And yeah, make sure you arrange it properly. Since I'm done with this side, I think I can shift so that we can see this other part very well. So just take your time to arrange it like I've done here. Can you see? It's giving us a very beautiful look. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin together now so that it can remain permanent in place. So once you are done, you will need needle and thread so that you can use it to tag it. Now this is not like Ankara, and this particular lace I'm working with is having lots of beads. Since we have created fold there, it's very difficult to sew on, so I'm going to just tag it. So can you see I'm done making those drapes, and I made it to follow the sharp V that I have on the main lining. Can you see? So you can see I've pinned it. I've pinned it at the center, and I've also pinned it by this other side. So what I'll just do now is to using my needle and thread to hold it in place so that when I'm sewing I will not be scared whether it's going to remove or not. So I'm going to use my needle and thread. So I'll pick my needle and thread, put it inside, and just run a stitch with the needle and thread. And please ensure the lining under is flat, because if it's not flat, all your effort is going to just be a waste. That is very, very important. The lining underneath should be flat. All right, so I'm done pinning, and this is how the whole thing looks. Can you see the drape? And I've used needle and thread to tack it down, though I've not removed my pins. I've tacked it down. So the next thing you want to do is just for you to cut out. Just follow the shape of your inner lining. If you like, you can turn it, but I don't want to turn this since my lace is transparent and I can still see everything here. So I'm just going to cut directly on top of it like this. So just like I said, if you like, you can drape it to reach here, just like we did for that one. You see the same process, just that for this one it's having double lining. So we drape it directly on the inner lining, which is the satin, and then the main lining, you know, is having lining. So if I just place the lining on top of it. So place the lining on top of it, right side to right side. Then, you know, this type of lace, I'm going to first, because it's not having lacy edge, so I'm going to be turning the down part. So from here I'll sew round, I will sew it round, and then I will now drag the lining upward, then I'll close the side. So that's just how to do this one. I'm going to sew it first.
Alright, so we're going to be sewing it now. So the first thing I'm going to do is to turn it to the wrong side so that I can see the shape. You can see my stitch is still there. So I'm just going to notch the center first. I'll notch the center of the V like this. Then after that, I'll pick the upper part and place it right on top of it. Then you also notch the center of the V of the upper part also. Then after that, you place them on top of each other, right side to right side. Then I'm going to pin. Then I'll match them together like this at the edge. And then I'll start sewing. I'm going to start sewing from the middle. And I'm going to sew with 1/2 inch allowance. Alright, so you continue sewing till you get back to the edge. Then when you're done, you go back to the center again, and then you sew across to the other side also. Alright, so I'm done joining it together, and this is how it looks now. Can you see? So the next I'm going to do now is to use my lining to turn it. All right, so this is my lining. So the first thing to do to the lining is also to notch the center of your V on the waistline like this. The reason for notching is for the V part to relax. That's the reason why we notch it, and for it to be easy for you to sew. So this is the main dress, so I'll turn it back to the wrong side, and then I'm going to place the V on top of it like this. Then I'll pin it at the center also. Then after that, I'm just going to sew it around the waist line. You can follow the previous line by turning it upside down, or you can just stitch with ½ inch. Since I stitched the previous one with ½ inch, I'll just go ahead and stitch it with ½ inch, or you turn it also upside down so that you can see your previous seam line and you just follow it. So I'll sew it when I get to the middle part. I'll keep my needle in and take off the pin that I put there, and then I'll just rotate the fabric and then continue stitching to the other side. And when that is done, if you turn it like this to the other side again, you can see this is how it's looking. You can see how flat and neat the waistline is at that V part. So that's the essence of that notching that we did earlier. All right, so I'll turn it back to with the wrong side and notch around the V area so that everything can be nice and flat. Then after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to turn the lower part of the dress. So you turn it back to the wrong side, and then you grab the hem of your lining and the hem of the main dress. You match them together. They are facing right side to right side, so you're sewing from the wrong side. So you are going to sew them together at the lower part like this with ½ inch allowance. And when you're done, the next thing is to go back to the waist area. We are still working from the wrong side. Go back to the waist area like this, and then you're going to close the side of the dress. Then from the waistline again, you're going to stitch the side close all the way down to the hem. Don't forget, when you're about to get to the hem, you leave maybe like 3 to 5 inches space so that you'll be able to turn it to the right side from the opening. All right, so like I said, I'll just jump like between 3 to 5 inches space. Then I'll backstitch and then start my sewing again by backstitching, and then sew it all the way down to the hem of the dress. All right, I'm done sewing the second side also. So the opening that I left, I'll just dip my hand inside it and then turn the whole thing to the right side. From that opening, you just drag it out from there. All right, so I'm done turning it to the right side. Can you see how it's looking? So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to tack my pleats down so that it can remain permanently in place. So I'll just be lifting up the pleat and then I'll just be tacking it down there, just making small stitches underneath the pleat. So just lift the pleat up and then make your stitch on top of it. So you're going to continue to do that until you get back to the end of the pleat. And if you notice, I only did this at the center of the pleat. And that will be the end of the class for today. You can see how it looks from the inside. You can see how neat the V shape is. Can you see? Nice and flat. And then if I turn it to the right side, this is how it looks from the right side. This is how it looks. So you just go ahead and complete the back and fix the sleeve and also close the side of your dress. So I'm just going to be doing that off camera. So that's it, friends, and this is how it looks on my client. You can see how gorgeous and beautiful it is. You can do this on your Ankara fabric. You know, we have done it on Ankara before. So, and here it is on a lace fabric. Yeah, and this is it after beading the upper part. You know, I beat the line that I created there with the corset stuff. So that's the end of the class. Thanks for watching. Please kindly subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed. I'll see you next time. Bye.